NBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits, which will be set in Los Angeles.
I think Meghan is an absolute nightmare of a woman, and I do have my suspicions that he ended up with her out of, some sort of...
And I certainly don't want my children to have a life without a mother or a father.
The way she treated me, she says, of Meghan.
And like me, who get tired of helping people and watch them dog you out.
Can only be described as dehumanizing. She also said you only hear about the professional positions.
Meghan Markle just burned two of the most powerful people who helped build her Hollywood empire, and now the backlash is explosive. Tyler Perry once gave Meghan a mansion to hide in, paid for private security when no one else would, and even became her daughter's godfather. Jessica Mulroney, her longtime best friend and royal wedding stylist, was by her side through the most chaotic.
He said the same thing. I don't believe, and he doesn't believe, that there are kids because
chapters of her life. But now both of them have mysteriously vanished from Meghan's inner circle, and insiders claim it wasn't just distance, it was betrayal. Meghan stayed silent during Tyler's legal crisis and completely iced out Jessica during her public downfall. So what really happened behind the scenes? Why did Meghan go silent when they needed her most? And how did it all unravel into one of the biggest betrayals in her Hollywood history? The truth is darker and more...
Whatever happened to Jessica Mulroney, the one-time best friend of Meghan Markle, who's
calculated than anyone expected? When Meghan Markle and Prince Harry fled the UK, it wasn't just about escaping royal pressure, it was about survival. And their lifeline? Tyler Perry. In a move straight out of a Hollywood drama, Perry flew them into Los Angeles under a veil of secrecy, gave them the keys to his private $18 million Beverly Hills estate, and paid for their personal security out of his own pocket. At the time, Meghan called it a blessing, and Harry even described Perry as someone who gave us breathing room to figure things out. Behind the scenes, Tyler was more than a friend, he was a fixer, a protector, and a public image buffer when the couple's reputation was crumbling on both sides of the Atlantic. It looked like a ride-or-die alliance.
The Sussexes continue to follow their own path in California.
But that illusion didn't last, because while Meghan climbed the Hollywood social ladder, Tyler's loyalty came with a cost, and when that bill came due, Meghan was nowhere to be found, and that's when things started to fall apart. At first, Tyler Perry stayed silent. Even as rumors swirled about him being used by Meghan and Harry, he refused to speak publicly. But everything changed when he got hit with a staggering $260 million lawsuit, an accusation tied to alleged industry manipulation, deception, and power games. The headlines exploded, and fans expected Meghan, his close friend and the godmother to his public redemption arc, to step up, but she didn't. No statement, no support, not even a public word of encouragement. For someone who owes her entire US reset to Tyler, the silence was deafening. Insiders say Perry felt abandoned, like Meghan had used him for protection and discarded him once the cameras were off.
apparently Meghan at the time was looking for any reason to get rid of her friend, and you can't help but wonder.
And quietly, Perry began distancing himself. The man who once opened his gates to protect Meghan's family had now closed the door behind them. But that wasn't the only relationship Meghan let die quietly. Before Meghan was a duchess, before the royal drama and Netflix deals, there was Jessica Mulroney. The Canadian fashion stylist wasn't just her best friend, she was her image architect, the one who shaped Meghan's brand and helped her navigate the elite social circles that would eventually lead to the palace. Jessica was even front and center at Meghan's royal wedding, practically family, but in 2020, everything changed. Jessica got caught in a social media scandal involving accusations of white privilege during a heated exchange with a black influencer. Within hours, her career began to collapse, brands cut TIs, shows were cancelled, and her reputation crumbled. And Meghan, she vanished. Despite years of friendship, Meghan offered no public defense, no quiet support, not even a private message, at least not one that's ever been confirmed. Multiple sources say Jessica felt blindsided and betrayed, telling close friends she was discarded like trash when she became inconvenient. That's when it hit people, Meghan wasn't just dropping friends. She was rewriting her inner circle, and the timing couldn't have been more suspicious. To some, Meghan's silence looked like self-preservation. After all,
Why? How did this relationship sour so quickly?
She had just signed multi-million-dollar deals with Netflix and Spotify. The world was watching her every move and aligning herself with two scandal-linked figures like Tyler Perry and Jessica Mulroney could have been seen as a liability. But here's where it gets darker. Sources close to Meghan claim it wasn't just silence, it was intentional distancing. According to insiders, Meghan was advised by PR strategists to rebrand her image into something more polished, more independent, more marketable. That meant quietly cutting ties with anyone whose controversy might drag her down. No messy statements, no public feuds, just a cold, strategic retreat. It wasn't personal. They say it was business, but for those left in the wake, it felt like betrayal. Both Perry and Mulroney went from being central pillars in Meghan's life to footnotes she refused to acknowledge, and fans started asking a dangerous question: if Meghan could do that to her closest allies, who's really safe in her world? As Meghan continued to build her brand, release her podcast, and appear at red carpet events without a trace of the people who once protected and elevated her, the internet noticed and they didn't hold back. Comment sections flooded with accusations. User, social climber, fake friend, even fans who once defended her began asking uncomfortable questions, but it wasn't just online noise. Quiet whispers in Hollywood started to grow louder. Industry insiders claimed Meghan had burned more bridges than she built. Rumors surfaced that some major players were hesitant to work with her not because of scandals, but because of how quickly she cut people off when things got complicated. Even Tyler Perry, once her loudest defender, began taking subtle digs in interviews. Without naming names, he spoke about people who only call when they need something. And Jessica, she's kept her distance entirely, wiping nearly every trace of Meghan from her social media. For someone who built her post-royal life on the narrative of loyalty and chosen family, Meghan's actions told a different story, and what came next may have sealed her fate in Hollywood circles. The final blow came when intimate footage filmed inside Tyler Perry's home appeared without his permission in Meghan's Netflix documentary. Sources say Perry was blindsided and furious, viewing it as a serious breach of trust. His legal team didn't hold back, sending cease and desist letters demanding the footage be pulled immediately. This wasn't just a personal slap in the face, it sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Perry's complete withdrawal signaled a warning to others. Meghan and Harry's circle was shrinking fast, and anyone connected risked their own reputation. Major studios like Netflix, Amazon, HBO Max, and even Disney began quietly distancing themselves. Projects tied to the Sussexes were shelved or cancelled, and talent agencies reportedly warned their biggest stars against collaborating with them. Once hailed as Hollywood's golden couple, Meghan and Harry now find themselves increasingly isolated, with industry insiders describing their brand as toxic and high risk. For a couple who promised loyalty and truth, this silence and these betrayals are proving costly. But the question remains, can Meghan rebuild, or has this scandal already destroyed her Hollywood dreams? This isn't just about lost friendships or broken deals, it's a window into Meghan's real approach to loyalty and power. From Jessica Mulroney to Tyler Perry, the pattern is clear. Meghan builds alliances to serve her goals, but abandons those who become inconvenient or risky. Her silence during Tyler's crisis, the cold cut-off of Jessica, and the Netflix controversy show a calculated side many never saw. It's a side that values control over compassion, optics over honesty. For a woman who once championed standing up for the marginalized and speaking truth to power, these actions paint a very different picture, one where relationships are transactional and loyalty is a commodity, not a commitment. Hollywood is watching and it's making its decision. Meghan's empire may have been built on star power and charm, but it's now threatened by a reputation of betrayal and silence. The biggest question is, will she learn from this or double down on a strategy that's already costing her everything? Meghan Markle's fallout with Tyler Perry and Jessica Mulroney isn't just a personal drama, it's a wake-up call for Hollywood and fans alike. The once celebrated alliances that helped launch her post-royal life have crumbled under the weight of silence, betrayal, and calculated self-interest. This scandal exposes a pattern that goes beyond gossip. It's about how power is wielded, how loyalty is tested, and what happens when ambition meets cold calculation. Hollywood's doors are closing, and the question remains, can Meghan rebuild a genuine support system, or has this scandal already sealed her fate in Tinseltown? One thing's clear, the story isn't over yet, and everyone watching is waiting to see what she'll do next.